Welcome to Stories I Didn't Tell Last Sunday. Hi, I'm Doug McAllister, and this is the weekly podcast from Journey Fellowship Church. If you are nearby in Slidell, Louisiana, why don't you come visit us here at Journey? Or if you live far away, why don't you download our app? You can go to your app store right now and type in Journey Fellowship Church in the search bar, and you can download our app as Compliments of Journey, and it's packed with resources to help you in your journey of faith. If you're living nearby, come visit us on Sunday morning. You can get driving directions from the app or on our website at jf.church. And if you live too far to drive to church, join us on the online campus. It streams live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, right from the main auditorium at Journey, and we'd love for you to join us in person or online. This podcast is designed for me to be able to tell stories that I didn't get to last Sunday. In writing sermons every week, I collect stories to illustrate the sermon, and I have more stories that I'm going to be able to tell in sermons in the years to come. So I'd like to take this opportunity and share some of those stories with you. And today I'm going to give you one of those stories, the story I didn't tell last Sunday. Tom was 7 years old when his second grade teacher told his mom that Tom would someday be a world-famous artist, a prophecy that certainly came to pass. Tom's parents divorced when he was a little boy, and he, along with his brother and sister, was raised in poverty by a single mom who instilled in her children a firm faith in Jesus in spite of their circumstances. Early on, as an elementary boy, Tom took a route as a paper boy in his hometown of Placerville, California, to earn money primarily to buy art supplies. And where, as destiny would have it, he also met a neighbor girl named Nanette, who became his childhood sweetheart and eventually his wife and the mother of his 4 daughters. Tom was a self-proclaimed artist even as a child, turning his little bedroom into his own studio and spending his paper route money on art supplies. He would sketch and draw constantly. He would read books from the library about famous artists from ages gone by to learn every detail about their life and their art. Tom graduated high school and went on to art school to develop his natural skill and to look for a way to turn his gift into a career. In 1978, at a low point in his life, Tom was spiritually hungry and had an encounter with God. He remembered what his mother had taught him about the gospel, and Tom turned to faith in Jesus Christ, and he made a personal commitment to Jesus and was water baptized. Tom would later say, "When I got saved, my art got saved." Soon after, he married Nanette in 1982, and Nanette worked as a nurse so that Tom could paint and pursue his passion. She would later say, "Tom was the visionary, and I was the implementer." Tom found work early on as an artist in Hollywood, illustrating movies. But he soon discovered that that was not what he wanted for his art. He and Nanette left Hollywood and moved back to their hometown of Placerville to raise their daughters and to start over. Tom and Nanette had 4 daughters, Merritt, Chandler, Windsor, and Everett, and found what Tom would later call the greatest gift to man: family. Tom said, "Children are the only thing that you can create that can touch eternity." Tom's art career soon became a small business through turning his original art pieces into lithographs that he and Annette would package individually and ship from their tiny offices. As word of mouth grew about this marvelous young artist, his originals began to sell in galleries, and other dealers grew interested in opening signature galleries to sell Tom's work. Soon they began to sprout up all over the country. At the height of Tom's career, More than 350 signature galleries operated across the nation. Hallmark also came calling. Hallmark signed Tom to a deal so that they could use his paintings and use them on their cards and puzzles and games and other Hallmark products. This little boy from a small town in El Dorado County, California, was about to become the biggest name in art in the 20th century. Tom and Nanette and his family grew more wealthy than they ever imagined possible. By some estimates, Tom's art is in 1 out of every 20 homes in America, and there are untold millions of copies of his works gracing the homes around the globe. In his lifetime, Tom achieved what most artists achieve only in death, and that is a worldwide appreciation of his work. Before his death, tragically in 2012, Tom was the most collected living artist in the world. His original works now hang in museums around the world, at the White House, in the Vatican, and even in that little library in his hometown of Placerville. Tom would hide in his work secret tributes to his wife and his daughters. For example, the date of his wedding anniversary, May 2nd, 1982, represented by the numbers 5282 in his paintings. Tom's 4 daughters were also included in his artistic processes. After the birth of each of his 4 daughters, Tom painted adoring images in their namesake. Evening at Merritt's Cottage, Chandler's Cottage, Windsor Manor, and Everett's Cottage. Tom would trademark the phrase painter of light, for that was the object of all of his work. Light. A little boy who grew up in the darkness of poverty and pain in a home of a single mom, discovered in the light the hope of Jesus Christ, and dedicated his life's work to bringing that light of hope to others through his art. Others like him who grew up in poverty and pain would someday find hope in the light of the gospel of Jesus. He will forever now be known as the painter of light. In his lifetime, Tom often quoted Matthew 5:16. For that is the verse that informed all of his art. He would quote the words of Jesus as the inspiration for his life's endeavor, and he would remind himself of the reason that he painted. Jesus' words, in the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Thomas Kinkade, the painter of light. And that is the story that I didn't tell last Sunday.